Mr. Speaker, even though I am a man, I'm trying to understand or comprehend the struggle that women are confronting in the modern society. I think most of you agree that even men are the victims of power harassment and sexual harassment. Even men are to some extent able to understand the intent of the feminist movement. But once you say, you are not understanding us at all, therefore we're going to show you what you have done to me. Sorry guys, I no longer stand on the same side. At the best, I don't support the movement anymore. I may support feminist movement in general, maybe, but I don't support that faction of the movement anymore. And that's the result. Therefore, in conclusion, their approach strategy seems trade-off. They're trying to address the limited number of radical people or limited number of subconscious oppressor at the expense of losing support of a vast majority of neutral supporters or existing supporters. We don't believe that trade-off is fair and that cost is disproportionate. Therefore, we believe that address is not worthy of the huge cost that they are trying to pay off in this debate. Because of this unfair trade-off, their approach, even at the best case or best successful case of their approach, they still lose this debate. Based on this framework, I'm going to examine two points in this debate. One, what is the current priority of current context of the feminist movement? Because it seems their approach is not contextual anymore in this modern society. They're supporting feminist movement in 1960s or 1970s. Second argumentation is what social expectations or perception is constructed with this radical form of retaliation and revenge. Moving on to the first discussion about what is the high priority for the current feminist movement. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, historically speaking, this specific social movement, unlike animal rights movement, unlike environment movement, feminist movement has a long history and the stage is already matured enough so that every one of us in this room even has incentive to understand some gender issues at least, right? What they are supporting is feminist movement in 1960s. You should feel exactly what we feel, and therefore we need some electric shock to initiate the discourse. That was a tactics that which was used in the 1970s or 1960s by feminists like Ueno Chizuko or Judith Butler or Bob Beauvoir or Roxane Gay. That's not the kind of feminists that people or population are supporting right now. The kind of the feminists that democratic movement or vast majority of people are supporting right now is inclusive form of cooperation. That is why feminists like Adichie or Emma Watson or Meghan Markle or Shibata Eri in Japan are getting strong support by the vast majority of population in Japan. Therefore, their argumentation or their strategy is no longer contextual, considering the current trend or current direction of feminist movement in legislative perspective or cultural perspective as well. We don't understand realistically what kind of outcome or result or key performance indicator they're trying to set up about their movement. Therefore, they are already behind this debate in terms of a principle clash. Based on this framework, moving on to the more practical dispute about what kind of social expectations or perception is going to be constructed with this form of retaliation or revenge. What they're trying to do is a sort of a reciprocity. Because you are doing so many bad things, I would do exactly the same things. Therefore, you should feel exactly the same level of disconformity and uncomfortableness that we have embraced right now, right? I understand their intent that there are many subconscious misogynists. We need to make them, or we need to enlighten them. So what's the reaction? If they are targeting the people, or those kinds of people who are potentially progressive, or would change attitude, and those people have already been influenced by some sort of feminist movement in other occasions, in other chances, and therefore, those are not the kind of people who are uniquely changed with this form of retaliation, right? For those people who continue to stay ignorant no matter what, is the kind of people who are likely to increase the amount of antagony or hatred when they confront this form of radical retaliation or revenge. Their response is, we somewhat owe the burden of proof about how we change those kind of people. No, that's not the burden. We are more than happy to cut off those people because we need to prioritize vast majority of current supporters or vast majority of existing supporters or potential supporters. We are not happy to prioritize small number of radicals people to change at the expense of losing current supporters or potential supporters of feminist movement who are already trying to cater to this kind of movement. Therefore, we don't believe that's a fair burden upon our side of the house. Do you have any point of information, by the way?
Thank you.
No, maybe I will take you later if you come up with. Moving on to another rebuttal is, as the second speaker explained that, there are many subconscious misogynists or subconscious, perpetrator of wrong deed. Therefore, they have contextual justification to address those people. But as I said or clarified in my introduction, there are many people, there are many men or in the society who are potential supportive feminists, or even within the feminist movement, even within female population, there are like swing voters, right? We need to consider the spectrum of the population. What they are trying to address is the opposite end of the spectrum without, paying attention to the vast majority of in between of this spectrum. And that's the fallacy of their tactics. What they are trying to prioritize is focusing on vast majority of those who are in between, like supporting or disagreeing with those people. Because in terms of number or amount of the people or number of population, those majority in between are the kind of people who have the power to change the current democratic legislative process in an election, in like any social occasions or cultural occasion. So what are the implications for those kinds of people who are in between? As my true speaker has brilliantly explained, that the sense of categorization or generalization is dangerous, because what you are doing is all men are doing this. I mean, they are treating a small number of radical misogynists as if those were the representative of entire male population. This sweeping generalization or categorization is going to perpetuate a misunderstanding or wrong perception about entire male population in general. That influences in a daily interaction as well. For example, when you interact with your colleagues, when you interact with your colleagues in workplace or friends, that perception of entire categorization is subconsciously internalized in your mind that those people are maybe potentially enemy for us. Therefore, we have to be careful when we go to men's house for drinking. We have to be extra careful because they are potentially savage and an enemy for us. That sort of potential false dichotomy is going to fuel pre-existing disparity, pre-existing antagony or hatred in between these two genders. And that is a dangerous society. We would like to oppose the motion. Thank you.